me too. I need to come sit
Come and
sit
sit in
your
the rain
garden.
anytime you like.
You'll be like, the Toad and Ashley is back. They're back again.
Well, joining me in the garden today is the fabulous Ashley James. Ashley, thank you for coming to Pottering.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time since I've sat in a garden.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I have a garden,
Oh, yeah.
a very small London garden, but I don't know, I still need to clean the seating from winter.
Of course,
And
yes.
I've just not made it out there yet.
Sure. What sort of things have you got in the garden?
AstroTurf.
Oh,
sorry.
I see. I see.
Sorry. Do you know what it is?
No, don't
I
apologise.
love, like, your garden is beautiful. For some
Oh.
reason, I find the concept of flowers and gardens very overstimulating.
Sure, okay.
Because I feel like I'm already juggling a lot, and my brain, it's just like one more thing that I know I have to do.
Oh, sure.
So
I get that, yes.
I think I grew up with a big garden. My dad actually won Britain in Bloom.
Goodness,
Or maybe
Ashley.
he's a runner-up.
Well, let's say he's a winner. Who's going to
Yeah,
check?
exactly.
Who's going
Just
to
in
check?
case someone does check.
Well,
And they're like, he wasn't actually. But yeah, so he's always, even now, he's always in his garden and has a big garden. And I don't know what it is, but it's just not, I find it a bit, even when I get a bouquet of flowers, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to have to unwrap
Oh.
it all and put it in a vase, and it's just one more thing.
One more thing. I can understand that. And that does actually explain why a lot of people do go for quite minimalist gardens as well, because like you say, it can be quite overwhelming or overstimulating, as you said.
Yeah.
And I guess if you don't keep on top of it, it can get quite untidy quite quickly, which is unpleasant.
But then I come here and see this, and I'm like, I'd love this.
Oh, well, next door I've got the strimmer out. And it's, well, this sort of thing is nice. Just a bit of grass and a few plants and flowers is quite low maintenance.
But
really.
you say it's low maintenance. I've killed cactuses in my home. Cacti,
Really?
would we call them, yeah.
How come? You overwatered them?
I mean, probably forgot about them for so many years that, I mean, I'm just not good with plants. And I've had the same house plants, I should say, since about 2017.
Congrats.
They've lived in 3 different places, but they never thrive. They're just like almost alive.
Have you got sunlight in your flat?
In my house, yeah, like different variations of it. And so every now and then I'll be like, oh, it looks really dry and they look like they're dying. I'll give them a water.
That should be fine. But
they just never, they're never
they never
thriving.
love it. I never know with houseplants. And sometimes I do find houseplants a bit annoying because I don't always want them in the house. Do you know what I mean? Like, people buy you a houseplant and then you're like, well, now I've got to keep that. Where am I going to put it?
Or regift it.
But you can't if you've killed it.
Yeah, that's true.
If you've got some.
You have to make a plan sharpish. Like, I brought you this.
It
And then
looks
they
a
were
little
like,
tired.
but I gave it to you.
Yeah, exactly, which is even worse. Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes, around Christmas time, people will give me a houseplant. I think, oh, now I've got to keep that out. And I've not got the space to keep your stupid, no, not stupid, lovely. But I know what you mean about it becoming work. So I think that's a very important point, actually, about how it can be overstimulating. So, thank you. You mentioned your dad's Britain in Bloom. What is your earliest memory of gardening? Or a garden?
Well, actually, my earliest memory of gardening, at school, we were all given these patches.
Oh, yes.
And we did it in teams for the summer term. And that was actually great because you could do anything you wanted on your patch.
Oh.
So every Sunday when my parents came to church, I'd be like, can we go to the garden centre, or can you bring some pansies? And like, it was really good because you could be quite creative. So sometimes you'd like make a little pond, or some people would like, add a bit of height.
Yes.
And then just every day of that term, and then there'd be a prize at the end. I mean, the prize was probably just, you've won.
Yeah, which is...
Here's a sticker, but we loved it.
What a lovely thing. That's a great thing
Yeah.
to do. I think whenever people do get involved with encouraging children to garden, they do really take to it. I know we always talk about like how all the young people are on their screens. And actually, I don't think it's just young people, but we're all on our screens. But kids really love it. If you give them a watering can even, they love to just sort of go and mess about and get
It's
dirty
so
as well.
good,
It's fun.
yeah. And I also do remember that one year I decided I would plant some strawberry, and I'd make my own little fruit patch.
Oh, well done.
But I didn't ask my dad, and he's got real green fingers.
Oh, yeah.
So I dug up all the rubbish that was in my patch, and it turns, he was like, Ashley, what have you done with my daffodils? And I'd basically just taken out all the bulbs.
Oh no!
Wrong season. So yeah, that was a very short-lived fruit patch. But I tried.
Oh.
I tried.
You tried, and I think that's a good learning thing, isn't it? That you can't force the seasons too much. Was it at springtime that you dug up the daffodils?
No, because they weren't in bloom. I don't know. Yeah, I probably got some strawberry seed. Do they come in seed? I mean, it must be.
Yeah, probably
Probably
at
got
some
some strawberry
point.
seeds in a magazine and thought in
Well,
autumn
why not?
I'll be like, I'll just do this.
I'll just have strawberries.
Yeah.
But I think that's good because that's sort of my approach. Really, is that I've always just kind of gone, well, there's a bit of mud there. People say, oh, what sort of compost have you got? I don't know. It's just mud, and then just planted some stuff, and then quite a lot of the time something grows.
See, I did get some wildflower seeds. I'm really into bees.
Oh, lovely, yes.
So I keep on my keyring a little. It's like got the emergency sugar syrup.
Oh yeah, if you see a
so if you see a bee, you can give
yeah.
it to them. So they do them on a keyring.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
every time I rebuy it, then it comes with some wildflower seeds. So I have put them in a pot of mud in my garden, but they've never grown yet. But you probably have to water it as well.
It's sort of,
Probably.
so as somebody who has killed a cactus, I would say yes. Probably watering is maybe part of it. I don't know, but just put them in there, see what happens. I think those sort of flowers, if you can just like kind of lay them on top of the earth as well. You don't need to put them that far in.
I mean, you're making out like it's easy. It hasn't been easy for me so far.
Look, I'm not. But actually, some of those ones you get in packets, like at weddings and things. Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, and here's a sachet of wildflowers
For our love.
for our love." Yeah, and watch it bloom. They always don't come to anything for me, or maybe
Maybe
one
that's
or
a
two
sign
things.
of divorce.
And then they have immediately divorced as well. It's very
Didn't bloom.
didn't bloom. Soz about it. But then you make your own bed, don't you? They created that, so But I think things like that, they often make out that they're just sort of so simple and like we just cascaded on the earth. But the truth is, whenever I've had those seed packets as well, you put them out and then suddenly the birds are like, delicious, thanks for lunch, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So,
Big fan of birds as well. My dad actually makes bird houses.
does he?
Little wooden bird houses, and so he brought a few down, and every now and then we get some birds that live there for a season.
Isn't that lovely?
It's so nice.
Lovely to watch them come and go.
Yeah.
And I feel quite invested in the children when like
The
when
bird.
yeah.
See, I said to him, he needs to make the holes a bit bigger so that we can see in, and he was like, but then the cats would get them, or the foxes, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Nature is terrifying and also horrific. I've come to realise, but you can get little cameras to go in there.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do this year if I see one in there.
Yeah, like a little spring watch. Have a very own little spring watch.
Yeah, I really enjoy. There's like a frog on Instagram that somebody made it. They saw this frog and then they made it like a little house, and then I think it brought loads of other friends to its house, so it slowly got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, how nice is
Yeah, I
that?
quite enjoy the videos like that.
Oh, that's. I never think about things like that. We sometimes have a little toad who comes to see us in the bottom of the garden.
Love
I
that.
think they're all kind of, lovely part of the ecosystem. Sometimes I'm a bit terrified of things jumping about, but it is lovely when you think, oh, you want to come and live in the garden. That's nice.
Yeah, not to sound really silly, but how do they get in?
Well, that's what I'm always curious about. But also the same with slugs, which are less endearing. But like these creatures sort of come from nowhere. You don't see them elsewhere, but somehow they know.
But at least a slug could like very slowly climb up and down a wall.
Well, I suppose it might, yeah. But a toad, I don't know. Do they come?
Like
There's some holes.
How high can they jump?
Yes, I've never seen a toad jump over a fence.
Yeah.
You're right, Ashley. I don't know about that. Or are they just sort of laying dormant, ready for their moment, and then they come to life? I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe they get picked up by a bird.
Yes.
And dropped.
If it's a big bird, because they're quite big, aren't they? I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't. Yes, because they're quite slimy. So maybe they'd wriggle out of a bird's beak.
Yeah.
Gosh, well, there's the birds there.
One to Google.
Well, I like it just being unknown as well. I think there's too much knowledge out there. We're also definitive in what we want to know. It's quite nice. Maybe I'll imagine that the toads either hitch a ride on a bird or jump over the fence.
I like that. I probably will go Google it because I quite like going down rabbit holes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Today I was down a rabbit hole and I was doing a deep dive into Lily Allen and her family.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went to go see her on Sunday.
Did you think you might meet some of them today? because
in
my
the
name is
garden.
Alan as well.
Yes,
yes,
exactly.
yes.
I got the wrong family.
Yeah,
Wait,
wrong.
Why are you not
What?
Lily? I was
This
doing
is
Lily's
very
podcast.
disappointing.
And I was watching the Vindaloo music video.
Oh, yes.
Because they said she did an appearance in the video, and I had
I didn't know
vague
that.
recollections of her. Of that video, sorry.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I want to see if I can see her.
Yeah.
And it turns out Matt Lucas and David Walliams were in the video.
I didn't know that.
Exactly.
But that was a very like 90s moment, wasn't it? I think anybody who was vaguely around was just thrown into that video, weren't they? I mean, I haven't thought about that video for a long time.
Well, now you are.
Isn't it people marching along? Is that part of it?
It's kind of a parody of the Verve Bittersweet Symphony video, isn't it?
Ah, is that what it's based on?
Yeah, so it's another comedian who's the main actor.
Oh, the 90s were a wild ride, weren't they?
Interesting looking back through the eyes of an adult.
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid during that time, and I've always found it just a lot of sort of quite unpleasant fabrics, like people wearing a lot of dark green nylon.
Yeah, I hated the fashion at the time. I remember stuff my mum put me in, but looking back,
Yeah.
I think it's quite iconic.
Well, I suppose
Lime green, like dresses with big black polka dots and matching ribbons and big scrunchies.
Yes, I suppose there was a bit more playfulness to it than I remember, but maybe similar to what you're saying. I guess I was younger and didn't have much choice to what I was wearing. Which brings us neatly on to your fabulous book, Ashley, which is so extraordinary.
Thank you.
Sunday Times #1 bestseller.
It is. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
I couldn't
Were you?
believe it.
What was it like finding out that?
So I feel like I've always been very good at being mediocre or like not quite, very good at, I work really hard, but I would say that I've not had that #1 thing, you know, even at school, when I did my school singing, I'd always be like #2, which is respectable, but I never felt like I got that.
#1.
Yeah. So I said very openly that I really want to be Sunday Times bestseller. And as it came closer and closer, I'd already made quite a public thing of like, I want to be a Sunday Times bestseller. And so when I got the call, I was too scared to answer. And then I went to go sit down and then I called back and I thought maybe I'd get #11, which would still be amazing.
Be great.
But yeah, when they said you are in the Sunday Times bestseller list, and I was like, that is amazing. And then they were like, and you're #1. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my goodness.
I could not believe, one of the best days of my life. And then I called up all my friends. It felt a bit like when you have a baby and
yes.
And that,
but better, because people will buy this.
Yeah, I had to work much harder to make that one.
So how did you find the writing process? Because it's so beautifully written and it's so honest and it's also so grounded in the world we live in. It's so relevant. How was the writing process?
It was very cathartic. It was hard as well,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed it actually. So the kind of like premise of it was that it's the book I wish I had as a teenager or in my 20s or even when I was single for 6 years in quite, I'd say, a crucial part of a woman's life between 27 and 33 when the noise of settling down is very loud. And then as a new mum, and I really struggled when I became a mum because it was never really on my bingo card. And then, you know, it's kind of sold as this, that will complete you. And so when I really didn't enjoy it, I was like, am I this terrible person? So it's kind of, I suppose it follows the whole experience of girlhood and to womanhood.
Yes. And in fact, it's structured like that.
Yeah, it is. So it goes girlhood, maidenhood, womanhood, singlehood, motherhood, elderhood.
Yes.
And yeah, it was interesting because I think it's quite healing writing a book. So it's part memoir. So I wouldn't say it's like an autobiography, but I use my own experiences
I think that's
to make passing comments on the universal experience of being a woman and how language and outdated expectations shape us.
Yes.
And yeah, I enjoyed it. And I think it allowed me to think about a lot of the things I experienced, like, for example, like navigating different class systems growing up, because I won a scholarship to a boarding school, whereas my parents had never done further education, or, you know, it was a completely alien world.
I think that's very interesting as well, because I think it feels very modern actually, because those kind of clear lines that the world used to have much more defined, have been blurred in our lifetimes in a very positive way. But of course, if one is in is experiencing that, like you say, that kind of that clash of classes, it can be it can be unsettling at the time, I think, as well.
Yeah, and I think I always felt like I was never quite normal in either, because there
Right.
was always very pointed comments. You know, at school it was like, people might behave like that where you're from, but in this school, this is how we
Goodness.
behave,
Yeah.
or this is the language that we use.
Gosh, that's so,
whereas
that
at
sounds so
home,
punishing, doesn't it? It's awful.
yeah, at home I remember once opening the fridge and being like, oh, we've got pate. And Dad being like, yeah, man, what are you doing with my corned beef? And there was very much like, do you think that's normal? Do you think that's normal, Ashley? So it was very much trying to almost like move myself to what was considered normal in each setting.
Well, we've both got, I think, a similar experience as well of having different voices to our parents.
Oh,
Because
really?
my parents were not sort of, I always say normal, like Londoners.
Yeah.
But I had this posh voice. But I wasn't from a
Did
posh
you just
background.
come out like that?
So I did, yeah.
Did
But
you
as soon as I started
actually?
talking, I just had this posh voice, and they're like, I don't know where we got him from. And of course, I had and I sort of, I think I must have enjoyed that to some extent, because then I kind of lent into it, but did have a sort of flamboyant air about me that didn't really come from anywhere. And so I did like nice things and going around stately homes but with the air of somebody who felt like they should live there. And my parents were like, well, come on, we've got to go home. They hate me doing that impression, but yes, maybe that's not a million miles from your experience.
Yeah, see, my parents always call me Patsy from Ab.
That's so funny. Well, when you were a kid.
Yeah, because I'd be like, my friend so-and-so who has a castle, or just, you know, the random stuff that I came out with.
Did you also have the hair as well?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, that's so funny. But I think there is, in writing especially, something lovely about having that outsider perspective, that you can see things much more clearly, I think, than a lot of people who are just marching along in the middle.
Yeah, and I feel like it's given me more empathy growing up around different groups of people and
The
seeing
empathy bell.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah, and just I guess like seeing that everyone has struggles and their own
Yes.
things going on, regardless
Yes.
of where they come from.
Well, and I think writing does have that effect, doesn't it? Of kind of, like you say, it's a catharsis. And because as well, it allows us to kind of consider what we actually want to think and what we actually feel about something, or what we've actually experienced. And I think
Yeah.
you're so brilliant at being so honest in this book, but also honest in a way that helps other people.
Yeah.
I thought that was very moving and also very grounded in a sense of time. Even the terms that you use, like sisterhood and maidenhood, and there is sisterhood.
Yeah.
There's one of them. Sisterhood, maidenhood. They kind of feel like they're all older words, because I know you've talked a lot about history, history of people, but women and for example the suffragettes and things like that. Has history meant a lot to you?
Yeah. Do you know what? I never really connected with history at school because I kind of thought it was a bit boring. But I always loved literature.
Sure.
So in a way, that is history, but it's history
Yeah.
told through personal stories, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yes.
And I think the history, at least at our school, was quite a masculine dominant. I imagine, like most places, a lot of women's history has kind of been forgotten.
Right. Yeah.
And now I'm fascinated. I just did recently Celeb Mastermind, and
Yes.
I did my specialist subject was Lady Constance Lytton,
Yes.
and she's a kind of forgotten suffragette.
I was
And
going to say yes. She's a lesser known one. Sorry.
Yeah, and I love that. I feel like the more we kind of amplify these voices, the more we realise that actually a lot of the things that they were fighting for are very similar still to, you know, that sort of, you know, back then feminism was the dirty word and now woke is the dirty word. And I think
Right,
we learn a
yes.
lot through history, and yeah, I love it. And at uni I did French and English literature, so a lot of the modules I picked were all quite historical.
Yes. I think as well, I've always liked history because it does explain who we are today, but also, like you say, there are those parallels that we can kind of draw strength from. And isn't it extraordinary, though? We kind of go, oh, everything's so modern now, we've got phones. But actually, like you say, the suffragettes and the suffragists are having very similar experiences and the same resistance to... doesn't even seem like radical change now. It just seems like just being acknowledged a lot of the time.
Yeah, and also without being like really deep, I feel like I do tend to always go on about politics,
No,
even at
well,
a party. But
you do it
it's
but you do it in a wonderful way.
it's like, you know, they fought so hard for those things, like all rights, whether it's, you know, queer rights, women's rights, working class rights, and it feels like we're very quick to almost give them all away.
Do you feel? Yeah.
Yeah, unknowingly probably, but yeah, like, you know, I feel like we're very, as a whole, anti-union, and
Yes.
the party currently leading in the polls is talking about scrapping the Equality Act and taking us out of the ECHR. And I always think if people from the past could see that we were just willingly going to give all of that up when people fought so hard for it.
For sure.
I was thinking this the other day. Imagine if Lady Constance Lytton or the Pancras came to the future and were like, we'd love to get an opportunity to see what women were doing with these rights, and then they just see us doing TikTok dances. Would they be like, oh, so proud?
Well, I suppose they would be. You'd like to think they would. They might even join in.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. I suppose because they were from such a confined era, such a restrictive era, that I suppose they would find that pleasing in some way.
Yeah,
But,
I think so.
I mean, yeah, I think it's expression. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if they were. But I suppose as well, yes, we do. I mean, every generation always assumes they're the first to do anything, don't they? But like you say, that context and that fight that they went through is so extraordinary.
Yeah, and language, that's the other thing I love.
Well, I love how you evaluate how we use language and how language is used to control people. Sorry.
I was going to say, I've had quite a lot of people message me. I mean, all amazing stuff about the book, but some people are like, it must be so exhausting living in your mind. And I'm like, yeah, it is actually, because I do tend to dissect everything, like the Lily Allen, I go into these deep dives.
Oh, yeah.
But with language, we use so many phrases still. A little nod from a bird. Yeah, like, you know, things like phrases like left on the shelf or mutton dressed as lamb, or crazy cat lady, that stereotype.
Yes.
So it all dates back to kind of periods of time. Obviously, crazy cat lady was linked to the witch trials, and
I was going to say
that spinsters, who were the original financially independent women, so a real positive that was weaponized, often they would have cats because they were cheaper and it was a companion. So during the witch trials, people became very suspicious of unmarried women because why would they not want a man? And often they had cats. So this crazy cat lady language that we still use, it does make you think, even though we've evolved so much, a lot of the language actually still keeps our expectations quite firmly in the past.
Yes. And I guess language is the way we think or process our thoughts, isn't
and
it?
And normalises cultural standards.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess people feel safe with those well-trodden stereotypes. And
I got called mutton dressed as lamb for the first time this weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Where?
Online. It was
online
first. I was like, my first ageist and misogynistic
yes,
combined.
Wow, the double.
So now that I'm almost 39.
Yes, who do you think you are? That extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose people...
So I did a deep dive into that as well.
I was going to say, what did you find?
Well, I found that, crucially, lambs are sheep who are under a year old. So I thought, is that the standard we want for women, that only lambs are allowed to be seen as attractive?
Right.
And the idea that mutton is like you're tougher, therefore less desirable meat versus the tender lamb. So the idea, it was first actually used in 1811 by King George IV. So at the time he was the Prince of Wales. I mean, I told you I go really deep on this stuff.
I like this then.
And he used it to describe an older woman who he thought was trying to look younger to attract men. And that's where it all came from. So I was like, the idea that if we dress in any way that's deemed to be sexy, number one, are we doing that for the male gaze? And number two, the idea that once you're out of that sort of window of attractiveness to men, then you should almost like disappear, no longer dress in a way that men would deem attractive. Yes.
And to this person who's posted it, obviously that is something they consider even now, which is terrifying. How extraordinary. I didn't know that was 200 years old.
Yeah.
They're still using it. I've often referenced the kind of perniciousness of the online communities at times. You know, do you ever find people can be challenging online?
Yeah, but overwhelmingly, I think it's amazing because I think we always hear so many bad things about the internet, and there are so many bad things.
Yes.
But I think for me with social media, on a personal level, I became a mum in lockdown and I didn't meet any other mums. I didn't have any mum friends.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think I would have got through that if it wasn't for the online community. Because even, you know, is this normal? This is what I'm going through.
Yes.
And so, yes, of course, you're always going to get the negative. I call them the negative Nancys. So you're always going to get some negative Nancys or some negative Nigels.
Yes, I
But
like
for
that.
the most part, I think social media has been really good to break down taboos and open up conversation that potentially we wouldn't be allowed to have in the past. Like I'm a real fan of talking about piles and prolapse and all the things that I got postnatally.
Yeah.
And I think also every time you mention the word piles online, at least 100 men disappear from your feed, which is, if you ever want to do a palate cleanse, it's a great way.
Oh, what an efficient way of doing it.
But, you know, things like that, I think so often women have suffered with in silence.
I've been expected not to talk about,
And now we can sort of create a little prolapse community.
Of course. But that is true, isn't it, actually? And I think things that, whatever it is one might be worried about, whether it's a health thing,
mental health,
you can, and the fact that you can do it without getting an appointment, going to speak to somebody, you know, you can do it quite on your own terms. I think that's I had not thought of that. That I suppose I'm aware of it, but that is a much more positive environment to be in.
Yeah, but then obviously there is always the negative people.
Well, there's a lyric in a James Taylor song, which is the squeaky wheel always gets the grease. Oh, the sun's come out. The squeaky wheel always gets the grease, which I think is true. That I always interpret that as like the noise always gets the attention. The noisy thing, the thing that's annoying you, is always the thing we pay attention to. But actually, there's so much more out there that's positive.
I suppose as well, I think sometimes I feel quite sorry for trolls.
Yes.
Because I think it's so hard, increasingly so at the moment, to be happy.
Yes.
Like, I feel like, personally, I've had to work really hard on being happy. I wouldn't say I was born a very happy person. I'm a deep thinker.
Well, I can relate to that.
And, you know, so we work hard all the time.
Yes.
And imagine spending your days looking for people online. Because I always think it's not like I'm famous enough in any sense. Like I'm very much in the Z list.
No, I don't think that's true.
It's like, oh, she's everywhere. It's like, you've had to come and find me.
Oh, yeah, those people. And it's like, they're like, who are they? I've never seen them before. They're everywhere. I can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
I sort of, yes, you're right. It is.
So you're coming to someone that you don't like to spread hate. But what's that phrase that I would say, like trolling someone, which definitely is not the phrase, but it's like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies.
Yes, I have heard that. I love that phrase as well. Yeah, that is very true, isn't it, actually? And we should probably feel that, I mean, yeah, there's negative people out, there's negative Nancys. I love that term.
And Nigels, we don't
discriminate. Nigels, and we don't discriminate here, thank you. Are very pained themselves.
Yeah.
And that is a strange life. I found it as a stand-up, actually. The big thing I learned was to try and train my brain to go to a happy place and think of the joy in the world, because I think I had a tendency to sort of wallow or panic or worry and overthink. And the biggest challenge I still find now is to be like, no, what's the fun thing here?
I honestly don't know how you do stand up.
Oh,
I think for my friends who do stand up, that I couldn't, because I think I'm such a inherent people pleaser that just having one person heckle me would send me over the edge.
Well, it's never it's not really the hecklers I worry about. It's the apathy I worry about. So I never like anybody who sat there like, don't really like it, or I don't really know. That's the person I fear the most.
And I suppose when you do well enough, people come for you and they want to laugh. But at the beginning, being brave enough to get up and go to these comedy nights where people are almost like, go on then, show me what you've got.
Well, that took me about 12 or 13 years to get over. Other people I think were much more brazen, but I always found that very debilitating. But what I've realised is, if you, a bit like I was saying about online, if you kind of get into their headspace a bit, I found if I just assumed they were mirroring whatever I was giving them. So if I went out being a bit nervous, they would be a bit like, I don't know what this is. And it would be kind of a mirroring thing. So if I went there being like, I'm confident, they'd be like, okay. Yeah. And that would lift them. So
I could never do it.
I think
I couldn't, because I'm not funny. So.
You are very funny and extraordinarily good at pinpointing how people feel. You're very good at that, and I think that's the trick to being a good stand-up, is that you connect with people.
I'll probably keep to talking about social inequality.
Well,
let you do the comedy.
Well, okay. What's lovely about this is that it does feel that it's accessible because you have so much of your personality in the book, that it's a lovely read, and it feels edifying. It feels very kind of joyful. It's full of life.
Thank you. I think I always try to come at anything from a point of, I'm not trying to pretend to be super intellectual, or I don't want people to read it and be like, well, I don't know any of this. I always try to just speak from like personal experience and in a way that, because I feel like none of us are born knowing any of this stuff. So it's almost like my life lesson of what got me to a point of feminism.
Yes.
And wanting to fight for equality. So I try to use my own experiences, which therefore is very, hopefully, like you relate to things, and even talking about like the dark things like sexual assault and stuff. It's almost like looking at why people don't come forward because of the culture. So you can't really argue with it, because I'm kind of saying everything that people might think along the way.
Well, I think that's what's so brilliant about the book, is that you do talk about all different aspects of life, and some very harrowing experiences, and I know you talked about them outside of the book as well. That vulnerability, I think, is so profound, and like you say, I think it does. I think it engages everybody to be on the same page, because you talk about equality, and you talk about sorry, somebody's doing their strimming next door at this very important moment in our chat, but that's the garden for you. There's always it's the inconsistent sound that
I'm just happy it's not raining. I thought it was going to rain today.
I thought it was going to rain, so
what do you do in those situations?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Umbrella?
We just get an umbrella, and it turns into sort of an ASMR experience.
Love that.
Or, I mean, it sounds kind of romantic when I put it like that. It's actually, there's the bell. It's actually, sometimes it just pours with rain and we get soaking wet, but that hasn't happened today. No, there it is again, just as I went before. But I felt that. I'm just going to go. I felt that I can see how engaging the book is, because everybody sees that equality, the fight for equality, is everybody's battle. And I thought that was perhaps the most wonderful thing I got from it, is that it's all of our fight. It's all, and if it's feminism, that doesn't mean that just women have to fight for female equality. It should be everybody fighting.
Yeah, and I feel like, because I have a son who's 5, and he's actually being teased at the moment for, liking girly things. Right. And so in the book, there's a chapter where I talk about being a boy mum, and throughout the book, I pepper all the sort of derogatory terms that are used to control women and keep them compliant. Sorry. So I show there's like you can't win because you're either a slut or you're frigid, and there's all these like kind of Madonna whore sort of impossibilities.
Yes.
So I have peppered them throughout the book, where I say like definition, and then I say male equivalent. And as the book goes on, you sort of see that actually there are male equivalents if you don't fit within the very narrow constraints of masculinity and what we allow as or consider masculine. So then in the chapter about being a boy mum, I talk about my son and all the pressures that he will face, and the rise of the manosphere. And I am a real firm believer with him that he can be and like anything, and how the outside world react to that. It's almost like my mission to give him the confidence to be himself, as opposed to bullying him to try and fit him into that narrow book. So I'm hoping it is a book. And actually, I've had loads of men read it and say, actually, I haven't considered so much of this, and I'm going to give it to my daughter, or I'm going to give it to my mate who's about to become a dad. And, it's really good for me, because often when you talk about feminism, people do assume it is just a woman's thing. But so many of the inequalities within feminism are an everyone problem, like the fact, expensive childcare.
Yes.
That affects
everybody.
mums and dads.
Yes,
so it's like,
absolutely,
I've tried to, I know that mainly women will read it, but it's nice to know that it resonates with men as well, and hopefully empowers mums who are raising sons to also allow their sons to be who they want to be, whether that's that they like pink and sparkles. And again, going back to history, how in 1918, pink was considered a boy's colour.
I mean, all of those sort of very oversimplified kind of definitions of masculine and feminine, like you say, pinks and blues, I do find so bonkers. And I definitely can relate to maybe your son's experience of kind of feeling different, being different, and just following my natural interests, and people being like, why? And even why becomes a sort of kind of quite controlling approach. Like, why do you want that? Why do you like that? And you go, I don't know. But you don't question the boy who loves football.
Yeah.
And you see it starts quite early on. I see it with the young people in my life now, that quite early on it's kind of people are defined by their interests and whether they are going to fit in with the sports teams or not, or that sort of stuff.
My son, need to clear that.
Please,
it's the frog.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. That's how it got in here.
My son loves musicals, and I took him to see Matilda.
Oh, brilliant.
For the first time a couple of weeks ago. His first time going to the theatre.
Oh, wow.
And it is the best. And I think because I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and I'd say did I have a lonely childhood? I'd say I had a semi-lonely childhood because my parents both worked 2 jobs. And boarding school was great, but then in the holidays, I once taught myself to touch type as a summer activity because I had no one to talk to. So I did that Mavis Beacon, where if you type properly, then the car moves, and if you don't, the flies come on the screen.
Oh, right.
So I was very good at touch typing from the age of 7.
Oh, that's great.
But
well, that's secretarial work that 7-year-olds do.
Yeah, so it's like quite lonely. So I feel like getting to do someone else's childhood in London is a bit like nice for me as well, because I'm like, wow. But taking him to the theatre, and he listens to Annie and Matilda to go to sleep, and it's so nice because I was a bit of a musical kid, and I mean I still am really, so it's nice.
Yeah, how brilliant though, how brilliant. And I think that's what's so positive. I mean, I know we just mentioned it a moment ago about the manosphere, which feels like that's become a term that's I've only been aware of in the last few months.
I feel like it also is a bit of a sanitised word for what it is.
Yeah.
Like manosphere almost makes it sound like attractive.
Yes, it does actually, doesn't it? What would be...
Hell. Burning hell.
That kind of hateful masculinity or hateful... Masculinity isn't even the word I think, but it's just hatefulness, I suppose. That kind of bully boy antics.
Yeah, like insecure bully boys, that's it.
Yes, and insecure, I think, is a big part of it, or in my understanding. Does it frighten you?
Yeah, of course. I think it should frighten anyone. It frightens me, for me, as a woman, because I still worry about my safety all the time, and especially because I talk about a lot of feminist topics on TV. I sometimes think, like, would I be a target? But then it worries me. I feel like we all hold our keys between our hands, and we've always had all of those worries. So knowing that there are networks of men who actively hate women and talk about assaulting us and killing us, and we see how that has played out in various news stories. But then to think that my son, because this is the thing, they infiltrate computer games and
this
all of these, the internet, and then it gets worse and worse. So it's a huge worry that my son could ever adopt any of these attitudes or beliefs, but also for the impact on girls. And there was this study that came out recently that Gen Z and Alpha boys have more, they say traditional, but I say oppressive views than the boomer generation, which when you think of the laws and rights and the norms of that time, we've regressed. That something like 1/3 of Gen Z boys think women should be submissive to men in marriage, and that women should never initiate sex, and all of these very submissive attitudes, and seeing women and girls as inferior. And you kind of worry about, like, for those Gen Z teenage girls growing up and not only having all of the kind of slut shaming and double standards that we had to contend with, but also having a very normalized version of like how they should perform. And you see that with like the Bonnie Blues and the fact that there's so much access to like violent porn, of what is their version of normal and how do they think they have to behave in heterosexual relationships.
Yes,
It's quite scary.
very terrifying. And I'm thinking about what you say about the boomers, because of course that generation after the Second World War were a part of a world that was moving forward. They were very excited. This brave new world was emerging, where women's rights, people's rights, human rights were moving forward. But I suppose now we're in this strange place where people are starting to go, oh, let's get rid of the ECHR, or let's
questioning reproductive rights and same-sex marriage and all of this rhetoric that 10 years ago we'd be like, well, we've won that. Let's keep protecting it further. And now we're sort of...
Do you feel we've become complacent?
Yeah, I'd say complacent, but I also think we've become increasingly divided.
Sure.
So we're debating things that actually we shouldn't be debating.
Yeah. I mean, I always think that's an odd thing that, again, online perhaps has created a world where everyone should have an opinion, and actually it's okay to just listen and learn. And actually, the way that some people kind of wade into debates where I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't have any experience, you don't have any knowledge of that, and will push a very kind of polarizing attitude.
Yeah.
Worrying.
Yeah.
I sometimes say that a lot of the people who comment online are the same people who in the old days would have turned up at a public hanging. But maybe that's too extreme.
Do you think we'll get a rainbow? I've just seen it start to rain.
It is starting to rain. I don't want to keep you, Ashley.
Okay.
I've really enjoyed this conversation tremendously.
Me too. I need to come sit
in
your
the
garden.
rain anytime you like.
You'll be like, the toad and Ashley is back. They're back again. I'll be like, weed killer on
Always
me.
out in that garden.
She's there again.
How did she get in? We don't know. She jumps over the
Through
fence.
the bird, the same bird.
A bird dropped her here. What I was going to say, what do you think, what is the antidote? What can we do going forward?
The antidote to the manosphere and the divisiveness. So I'd obviously say to read my book, because that will empower you. But I think showing up with love and continuing to humanise people, because I think often where there's division, it's because we've dehumanised a group of people. So whether that's, immigrants, asylum seekers, or whether that's the trans community. And I think if we continue to humanise people and show up with love, because you can't fight hate with hate.
For sure.
And I think often, we kind of feel like we're on either like the left or the right, but actually there's right and wrong, really.
Yes.
So I think,
what's it? The winds of change.
Yeah.
That little stand that I have in the garden has fainted.
It looks a bit like a wicker sort of.
Oh, it could be
something a bit dark.
A bit. I just grow sweet pea up it.
Oh, right, okay.
But, yes,
Sweet pea
but it is a shrine as well. Yes.
Okay.
But it sort of did it it fell over in quite a dramatic way. That was as though it had just like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Like,
But
please tell us to stop talking about politics.
Such serious topic. No, I don't mean to be flip at all. But I think that's such a profound thing to say about humanising. And remembering to tell the personal stories. And also just letting children, whoever they are in your life, like giving them the confidence to be soft and to be themselves. And, I think it's as important with boys as it is with girls, that if they grow up to be happy little people, then we don't have people like Donald Trump who clearly just should have gone to therapy when they were younger. That's very true, isn't it? Really. Yes, how true. I know we talk about, often people are like, oh, are they strong? I remember somebody saying about my grandmother, was she a strong woman? And I was sort of said, no, not really. Not really. And I suddenly realised like strong people, it means good.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, I'm quite weak. And I like that about me. I quite like, do you know what I mean? I am quite fastidious. Well,
I suppose there's a strength in softness.
Yes. Well, that's it, isn't it? Oh, what a lovely thing to say.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's
you've got very strong at gardening.
Well, you say that. I haven't anchored that thing in.
Yeah, maybe just need to anchor the wicker.
Yes, I mean, you've got a lot more to do. But thank you so much, Ashley. And Bimbo is available from all good book providers right now.
It is.
And I'm so thrilled for you. It's a beautiful book. And I have a little gift for you, which I hope won't Well, I sort of thought it
After everything I
matches.
said.
No,
Oh, I
after everything you
love
said, you
it.
can look forward to killing that.
I'm going to do my best to keep it very much alive.
No, I've actually found little roses like that quite straightforward. Just a little bit of water once a week, and if things start to die, just trim them off.
I will try my best to keep it alive.
But don't stress.
And I will not re-gift it.
Well,
So ignore
if
what I said in the
see you
first.
on social media with handing that over to somebody else,
Yeah.
then well,
Thank
it's a little
you.
something to say.
That's
Thank you for
so
joining me here in the
kind.
garden, just as the weather turns. But Ashley James, it's been lovely to
I've
have you
loved
here.
it. Thank you.